Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 74 of the 40K Badcast. My name is Dan Boyd, and I'm joined, as always, by the super soldier himself, Antifa McAcab.
I mean, I am the chapter master of the Antifa Astartes, as we all know.
We're all the leader of Antifa here.
No, we're all Antifa super soldiers. The beheadings begin at noon.
All right. It's, boy, Campbell, it's been one hell of a last 2 weeks, huh?
It's been 2 weeks.
I got to get a fucking Bare Naked Ladies button for whenever anybody says it's been, I can hit it and it can go, it's been. It's been. All right, now I got to add that to my list of buttons I need.
Yeah, we need every possible niche covered by a different button on your sound pad until you get like 3 or 4 of them in a row. All
right, here we go. It's Ben. No, I have a list of buttons that I need that I just add to until I reach terminal button velocity.
I mean, it will be your terminal at the end of the day.
There's a ska button. You know what the problem with the ska button is? I've actually thought about this. I can't decide which song to pull the ska button from.
I mean, this might be my own lack of, ska knowledge of deep ska lore, but you could just go for the, like, constant upstrokes and pick it up from Superman by Goldfinger. I mean, that's a pretty easy go-to.
I know,
it's pretty recognizable.
Well, that's the thing. I was like, do I go with a recognizable classic or do I go with a deep cut?
But here's the other thing also. Is Goldfinger ska or are they punk with horns?
Listen. Okay. One of the things I hate most about every genre of music is all the subgenres.
Please, let me tell you about metal.
I hate subgenres. That's one of the reasons why I just stopped listening to metal completely, is because all the fucking inane subgenres everywhere. And I refuse to apply subgenres to ska. It's all ska. It's all wonderful. And I love all of it.
I need a full dictionary definition before every single title of music. Like I need like 35 words. I need a paragraph to describe what I'm listening to right this moment.
I need to get a fuck you Baltimore button.
You do need a fuck you Baltimore button.
Just because. I need to get a for the longest time button. You might remember the Billy Joel song For the Longest Time. Whenever anybody says the words For the Longest Time, in my head, I'm immediately, oh, for the longest time. Every single time. A To Be Fair button from the show Letterkenny. I don't know if you've watched that show. If you haven't, it's really funny. I haven't. But when anybody says To Be Fair, they do a 4-part harmony of To Be Fair. To be fair, to be fair, to be fair. And then, of course, the It's Ben button. All right, we'll see if I ever get to that. Yeah. We'll see if I ever get to that.
Let's move the It's Ben button to the top of the sort of button heap if we could.
Okay. Wow. That's one way to start a show.
It's been one start of an episode.
All right, let's move into the Auspecs, where we talk about what's on our hobby radar. And I'll start.
Sure.
I finished the Baja Blasters.
Hell yeah.
They are Dunyan rings. I haven't taken pictures of them yet because my desk is a mess, because I'm already working on my next project, which is building 3 squads of infiltrators.
Oh, yes.
Primaris infiltrators. So I had the Shadow Spear box, and I bought a box of 10, and I thought to myself, I'm not going to make a 10-man squad of infiltrators because I'm not ever going to use a 10-man squad of infiltrators. I've been playing 8th with my Raven Guard now for 2 years, 3 years, something like that. And I haven't used a squad of 10 Primaris Marines literally ever.
I mean, they're my only squad of 10 Primaris Marines. No, I have a veteran squad that's 10. But yeah, my infiltrators are my only other 10-man squad.
So I was not going to make that 10-man squad. So I decided I was going to take 2 boxes. I'm sorry, the 10 from the Shadow Spear box and the 10 from the Infiltrator box, and make 3 5-man squads.
Okay.
So you might think, well, Dan, that's pretty easy. That's not a whole deal. That's 20 models, and all you need is 15. Well, listener, have we met? You don't fucking know me, because there are some understudies in this squad. There's the Helix Adept, which I have come to discover is only available in the Shadow Spear box, or I guess to start collecting Vanguard Space Marine box too. Yep. But he's not in the Infiltrator box, which is let's just say frustrating. And then there's the comms person with, I don't know what to call it, comms guy. It doesn't matter. Who there is like an off-brand version in the Shadow Spear box, because there's a fella who's touching his ear thing and he's got a larger head antenna than the other ones do. And I'm thinking,
he doesn't have the backpack bit though.
He doesn't have the backpack bit. Well, in the box, in the Infiltrator box, there's like this elaborate backpack thing with a little satellite dish. So
which is so cute.
And that model, I have it in my hand right now, is one of my favorites of the squad, because he's got like an double helmet thing going on. He's got a helmet on top of his helmet, which, okay, sure. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to make these 3 squads, and I want to have Helix Adept, and I want to have a comms guy for every squad. But I also want to have a guy that can replace the Helix Adept or comms guy, so I can have a 5-man squad with no upgrades. Okay. So what it means is 7 guys per squad.
Okay. First of all, that equals 21. I can count. And second of all, you should just embrace saying fuck it and being like, that dude doesn't have a rate. That radar dish in his back is non-functional. It's a decorative tiny radar dish.
So the radar dish thing, I have let that go. Mm-hmm. I have decided in my infinite wisdom that I have a comms guy from the Shadow Spear box. He doesn't look like the other comms guys, but maybe he's got a newer version that's smaller.
I mean, you can also just glue on a big honking radar dish from an Imperial Guard tank or something.
Could do that. Probably won't, but I could. Yeah, I'm thinking the radar dish from like the Death Strike. It's enormous. But here's the thing. The Helix Adepts are where I'm running into problems, because I only have 1 from the Shadow Spear box, and I want to have 2 more for the other squads. So I have reached out to friends in the community, and I have secured 2 more Helix Adepts. So I will be able to turn this project from what's already kind of a clusterfuck into something that, for me at least, I can look at and be like, yes, I've done this correctly.
Awesome. Happy to hear that.
What did you work on the last 2 weeks?
I didn't build the Infiltrator kit correctly because I built a bunch of incursors that I've been working on.
Whoops.
So they look cool. They have the Soldier 76 goggle thing going on, which I'm into. Okay. So I finished painting the first squad of them, where they have this wonderful contrast of like black and blue, like my typical like stealthy colors, then big honking hazard stripes and all the little video cameras they got sticking off them.
Yeah.
And then this like red and white sort of iconography I have for their squad.
Ooh, excellent mouth sounds there. I'm
having a great time.
I'm gonna really enjoy taking those out of the show after this.
I'd say I'm deeply sorry, but it's something I can't super help, so I'm not that deeply sorry. I'm just a little sorry.
It's okay. It's rare that they come through the Skype call.
Yeah, nowadays anyway. Listen, let me just take a nice. There's some ASMR for you, motherfuckers.
Oh man, okay. 40K ASMR.
Yeah, round 2, we're here. It only took 74 episodes to do it. So I painted the first 5 incursors, which, like, much to my surprise and joy, were showcased on one of the Warhammer Live, like, hobby roundups they do.
Yeah.
Along with Capitan Maximo Volante. And it was really nice. I got to hear people I respect saying very nice things about my paint jobs.
Well, yeah, we played the Maximo Volante thing at the beginning of the last episode.
You're right. Yeah. I am sorry. Would you believe I'm kind of having a hard time figuring out what day it is right now and when things happen?
Oh, my God.
I've worked 30 hours this week already. It's only Wednesday.
That's great.
Yeah, so aside from that, I built and primed this Dawn of War armory that I just got from this guy on Instagram is making these really cool, like, small batch garage resin kits of the Dawn of War armory building that he like scratch built. And
this is as a terrain piece.
Yes. Yeah, there's no in-game use aside from blocking line of sight unless I decide to write up some rules, which who knows, maybe I will. But I mounted that on a big masonite base that Dylan cut for me like 9 months ago, and that's looking cool. It's just primed right now. I was overcome by a dark curse, and for whatever fucking reason, I was like, I want to buy a bunch of hobbits. I want a lot of hobbits. I need hobbits for my Empire army. And I bought 30 of Lumpen Kroup's fighting cocks from the old regiments of renown.
Oh my God.
I was able to source a bunch for a really good price, and I was able to talk a guy on eBay down for a bunch of them to the point where I'm maybe spending like $4 to $5 per metal hobbit, which that's not bad for how old and how rare these models are. But I can use them as like free guild archers or free guild crossmen, whatever, in Games of Age of Sigmar. I was just, for whatever reason, just overcome with this desire to paint hobbits, and I don't fucking know why. I'm glad I got them, though. The models are wonderful. They've got like baguettes in their backpacks and frying pans and beer bottles and all kinds of fun stuff on them.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, and their like standard bearer is holding a weather vane of like a rooster on it. I love them. I can't wait to get these guys painted. And also, it'll be nice to do when I'm done painting Marines to just like blast through a bunch of little pewter figures, and I can paint them in the old moot colors of, I think, green and yellow were their sort of like province colors. So
yeah, that's accurate.
Aside from them, I am painting my second 5-man squad of Incursors because the only thing better than a bad decision is doubling down on that bad decision.
Why?
And I'm hoping in vain that they get better in 9th edition, but I've got a gut feeling they won't, because they're in the Infiltrator box. They can say it makes 2 things. But they do still have 2 knives, and I really like guys who have 2 knives. They got 2 knives, they got the little Spider-Man, I love them. But the other thing I'm doing with these guys is, instead of doing caution stripes, I thought I'd be a bit more subtle. So instead of having caution stripes in all their guns, they have hot rod flames, which is why the sergeant of the squad is Sergeant Flavius, and they are Sergeant Flavius in the Flavortown 5.
That's not getting a Tarantella.
It's not. No, that's fine. If you had a like diners, drive-ins, and dives sort of jingle, that's when you would have bashed it out there. No, I know it's not a super Italian thing. We got room for that later.
Well, Bud, I just want to remind you that like infiltrators are very good. They block deep striking.
Yeah.
They infiltrate. Their guns aren't as good as intercessor guns, but they still, automatically wound on 6s to hit, which is pretty good as far as things go.
Yep.
They're an excellent unit with a bunch of with some good abilities and stuff. And then Incursors have 2 knives.
And you just invalidated everything good you said about infiltrators because you brought up the fact that the Incursors have 2 knives.
All right. You know what? I'm not going to argue about this anymore.
Black Templars, 3 medals, fucking count them, all right?
You didn't paint them as Black Templars.
I know, I'm saying I take suboptimal things and I do okay.
If you had painted at least one of these squads as Black Templar Incursors with 2 knives, like perhaps even knives akimbo, then maybe I would, I'd feel better about this, but I don't feel good about it. I feel bad about it. Feel slimy and dirty.
Oh no!
No,
I don't want to make you feel slimy and dirty.
No, it happens every time I talk to you. It's just something we've both got to live with at this point.
You can take a shower in about an hour and a half then.
Okay. Tell us more, please. I know that you've done 100 things and you want to talk about it.
Unfortunately, this is all the hobby stuff I've gotten to do, but I do have some very big news. The 40K Badcast Facebook page has successfully changed its name to the 40K Badcast.
I was going to save that for the end of the show.
Fuck.
But we'll bring it back at the end of the show. That's right. Okay. We do have a Facebook group. I'm not on Facebook, so
you shouldn't be.
You'll never see me there. But old Crumbo here is, and the 40K Badcast is on Facebook. So just go there and interact with one another. What do people do on Facebook except lie to their parents and uncles and shit?
Accidentally cause the downfall of democracy.
Yeah, well,
so it's great. It's really good. Facebook's wonderful.
I mean, it's this democracy. I don't want to say it's all democracy.
Well, we do live in a democracy.
Let's be clear.
That's fair. Let's move on.
Such it is as it is. Is it a democracy? You know what? Write in and find out. Write into the 40K Badcast on Facebook and talk about whether or not this is an actual democracy and not an oligarchy.
just going to reply with all lowercase no to every single message.
All right, let's move on to new stuff. Well, there hasn't been a lot of new stuff in the last 2 weeks. They have teased some 9th stuff on Warhammer Community, 9th edition for Warhammer 40,000, which is what we talk about on the show sometimes. But, we'll talk about that shit later. I don't want to get into all this 9th crap yet because the picture, let's just say the picture is not complete. We don't have the whole picture.
Yeah, I mean, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far, but I figure reporting on the drip feed is probably not the best use of our time right now.
Right. So there is some breaking news from today, though, that was disappointing for everybody, though, of course, I knew about it weeks ago. But Nova Open 2020 has been canceled. And I knew about it weeks ago because Lori Brandt approached me and asked me if I would help them by doing a video to send out to announce the cancellation and then ask for people to contribute their purchases back to Nova Open to ensure that we could have a Nova Open in 2021. So, let's talk about that, Campbell. Nova, not happening.
It's bad news, but also I'm kind of glad it got canceled because, you can kind of go back to our episode about Adepticon where we were kind of weighing whether or not to go when we didn't quite know the gravity of the situation we're currently in.
Yeah.
And where I settled was, if it happens, I won't go, and I'll feel real bummed about it. If it gets canceled, I won't feel as bummed, and also it'll mean a lot more people are a lot safer. So because we don't have, a vaccine right now for coronavirus, and we're still in a pretty fraught situation, I understand why it was canceled. I am sad to hear it was canceled, but again, now is not really the time and place for it.
Yeah, so the executive board at Nova decided that it was more important to act in the interest of public safety than to try to throw the convention this year. And I feel like even if the convention was going on, I don't think people would go. I think it would be extremely depressed attendance. Yeah,
and again, it would be extremely depressed attendees as well.
Yeah.
Because, with all the things, you have to keep your distance, you have to keep a mask on. There's so many. And if you're not doing that, you're potentially exposing tons of people to tons of stuff. And I don't want the next ground zero for coronavirus to be my fun little nerd convention. I don't want all my friends who go to die. So I'd rather they not hold it this year for the safety of everybody.
Yeah. So I do want to ask people that are listening to this show to consider contributing, donating what you've already purchased for Nova Open back to the Nova Open this year. Nova Open is not really a business. It's there to fund charity efforts. So the business structure of Nova Open, nobody makes money off of it. Nobody gets paid salary. It's all volunteer work. And then all the money that comes in, some of it gets put aside for sustaining Nova Open. But once that point is reached, that's business expenses. So storage, insurance, subscriptions to whatever programs, whatever we're using, whatever business expenses, right? And then every dollar above those expenses goes directly to charity. It gets donated to the Nova Open Charitable Foundation, which of course then goes to organizations like Doctors Without Borders, which is pretty much one of the few unimpeachable organizations out there in the world right now. So if you have already paid your money for Nova Open 2020, please consider donating that back to Nova Open so we can have a Nova Open in 2021.
Yep.
Because if Nova doesn't make some money, then it's not going to happen. They're going to run out of money, and that's it. End of the con.
Yeah, and I understand that a lot of people might not have ideal employment situations right now, or what have you. And
and if you can't donate, it's not like we're going to be here and for shame, you're not helping out this cause. No. If you can't, just consider it. Think about it. If you can, great. If you can't, also great. No shade, no shame.
Yep.
All right, that's kind of a bummer.
It is kind of a bummer, but
we've got some more bummers coming up later in the show. So let's move on to. Was there any other new stuff you wanted to talk to before we move on? Because I haven't really been. Paying attention that much.
The new AdMech stuff came out because the factories are kind of spinning to life again, and it's it's a bit pricey, but it's really fucking cool.
So what are we talking about? We're talking about flame horses and the people that ride them.
Well, burn dogs, but also flame horses. Yeah, they're kind of the mix between the two.
And then there's non-flame horses and the people who ride them.
Right, the cowards option.
Right.
Then we have the Archaeopter.
Yes, which is it looks like a helicopter with bird wings, right?
Yep.
One of the stupider ideas, but hey, it looks good.
It looks super.
It's a cool model. I mean, it's dumb as fuck, but it's a cool model.
I mean, that's
does
a lot
it
of
use
the best
its legs to jump?
I don't know. I bet it does. It uses it for landing gear, but it might use it to jump because it looks kind of like a dragonfly.
Because like part of the whole like bird experience is they jump with their legs to start the flying process. Yep. So like I'm looking at a picture of this thing and it's got like its back legs like held in close to its body. Mm-hmm. I think this motherfucker jumps with its back legs.
I wish when it took enough damage it would have to hop like 6 inches at a time.
Oh, that would be fun.
That would be fun.
Also sad.
Yeah, no, you'd have to kind of.
No, this is a great model, but man, I'm so happy that they're leaning into the whole like Leonardo da Vinci weirdness of the Adeptus Mechanicus. That was a direction that I didn't think they would go in, and I'm so happy they did.
I'm really happy they did too. Again, it's one of those models where I look at it, I'm like, I don't want to paint that, but I'm happy to see other people who paint it. So
there's also the Flyboys.
Yeah, the non-Katratza facing Birdmen.
So they're called like
sterilizers.
I don't know, but there's like a word for PTER, like pterodons.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's
Terax sterilizers. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't even read that stuff. My eyes just.
It's too copyrightable for your eyes to read.
They just slide right off of it. So I learned something fun the other day. Helicopter. You're familiar. You would think that like the portmanteau of helicopter would be like heli and copter.
Right.
No, it's helico and ter, PTER. Like a pterodon or whatever.
Pterodon. Okay,
so helico and Pater have joined to become helicopter.
It should be helicopter then.
Yeah, right? Whatever.
Cool. Trivia.
Trivia here on the 40K Badcast. Yeah, so new stuff. That's it.
Yep, that and the Skies of Fire, Taros Air War stuff for Aeronautica Imperialis with like the Lightnings, the Valkyries, Tiger Sharks, Barracudas, like Tau.
Didn't we already talk about this?
We did when it was announced like 6 months ago or something like that, yeah.
I did order that book.
You can buy it now, that's all.
I ordered the book because I haven't painted my orc planes yet. So, I want the rules and the backstory. I don't want to get any more planes.
I mean, collecting rule books is the real gamer pro move.
That's what I do, baby. It's what I fucking do. Yeah, so maybe one day I'll play Aeronautica. That would be fun.
You should. It's fun.
Okay, let's move on. We make the call. Here's a good one. This is a layup here.
Okay.
All right. Every now and then, I look through the email and I think to myself, I don't want to answer hard questions. I don't want to fucking like, somebody's got like a bummer story that they want to tell us. Mm-hmm. I want to go for something easy, a layup. Okay. Scottie Pippen, just under the net, bloop, pops it in, layup. So here we go. This is from Matt Miller via email. All right, guys. What is the best isometric RPG in the history of isometric RPGs?
It's Baldur's Gate. It's the first Baldur's Gate. The second one is better based on the first one, but stand alone. The first Baldur's Gate. Like, go for the eyes, boo. You must gather your party before venturing forth. Baldur's Gate, original.
Absolutely. The first one is better, but it's still not as good as the original Baldur's Gate. 1998, that game came out, and you were 6?
I was 8. I I have a very easy time remembering what year I was born or what, how old I was at any given time because the math is done for me.
Yeah. That's a great game, man. I replayed it with a mage character.
Mm-hmm.
Game's fucking hard as a mage. It's a lot harder than just putting a fighter, giving him a shield and a sword, and like, yeah, go ahead. See you later.
I think my last playthrough was as a half-orc barbarian, and I'm just a walking blender that just cuts through every fucking thing. It was a blast.
The thing is, though, in Baldur's Gate 2, because like fighters, they progress linearly. Mm-hmm. You know, mages progress exponentially. So while it takes them longer, they reach the heights of power that fighters can only dream of.
Yeah, that's it. Because like in Baldur's Gate, it's like when you first start and there's like one wolf in front of you and you're like, I cast my one magic missile and now I fucking die.
And now I'm fucking dead.
Now I am ground beef.
So but then like you get into Baldur's Gate 2, the Throne of Baal expansion, which is like the end game, and you're like level 25. Your level 25 mage is casting like time stop.
Yeah, no, your mage is an ICBM that walks like a man. It's amazing.
and then just shits out like supercharged fireballs everywhere. And it's like, wow, well, there were enemies. The fighters are like, what do we do? What are we even doing here?
They're there to protect the mage while they sleep.
Pretty much. Yeah, so Baldur's Gate, the original Baldur's Gate, came out in 1998. Hey, that rhymes. And is, I still think, the best computer game of all time.
It holds up remarkably well, and the like expanded versions that Beamdog did that kind of bring in all the Baldur's Gate 2 improvements are what make it like fucking amazing. And transitioning from 1 to 2, and if you get to carry over to 3, that'll be cool, is one of the most rewarding things in all of like video games. All
right, Baldur's Gate 3 is a thing that's going to happen.
Well, yeah, it's happening.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Man, that would be a good thing to happen in 2020, huh?
That would be like the second good thing to happen in 2020.
Well, speaking of 2020.
Oh boy, here we are.
All right, so here's our first segment of the show. We're making time this episode. No 50-minute auspexes this time. So I've entitled this segment in my notes, 2020, the year that keeps on giving, and in parentheses, us diarrhea.
2020, I want to get off.
Yeah, so, I mean, that could be construed in multiple ways, Campbell.
I mean, it ain't wrong.
Hey-o. Where is it? I forgot which. There it is.
This one's for the horn dog.
Sorry, my buttons are color-coded. I had to pull up the...
the chart. Okay.
That was for me.
That's okay. It's important to get out of the way fast.
Cancel that. Anyways, 2020. Oh boy. And even not just 2020 came up, but the last 2 weeks of 2020 have been a really bumpy ride for all of us.
The most 2022 weeks imaginable.
So let's recap. January, February, at least in the United States, pretty normal. In Asia, things are getting a little wacky because the coronavirus is spreading like wildfire through China, and then it comes over into Europe. March comes around, and coronavirus is pretty much worldwide at that point. Adepticon gets canceled. If you would have asked me in March, I would have been like, hey, in June, it's still going on. And, oh, by the way, things are getting worse. I'd be like, well, fuck you, dude.
Yeah, I'd be like, how?
So March and April, we're all quarantined. May, still quarantined. Some people are breaking it because they're fed up, which I can relate to, but, hold strong, guys. Remember, public health, it's a real thing. And then brings us to June. It is the 10th of June as we're recording. And, buddy, it feels like this month has gone on for years.
Yeah, these have been the longest years of my life, and it's only been about 14 days. So at the end of May, on May 25th, you probably know this, but this is kind of for the sake of this being a time capsule. 4 police officers murdered George Floyd in Minneapolis, and it was caught on tape, went viral. Everyone fucking saw it. It is very upsetting to watch, and resultantly, you're seeing the best and worst of people right now. Like, we're seeing massive protests, which are hundreds of thousands of people mustering to march in the streets and demand justice and an end to police violence alongside their fellow human beings. But you're also seeing, big donations to black-facing charities and a lot of empathy and art and a lot of kindness that people can muster. And you're also seeing some of the most scared, divisive, angry people imaginable at the same time.
Well, yeah, people are marching in the streets with the idea to end police brutality. And so the police have decided that, hey, let's show these protesters some good old fashioned police brutality, and that'll stop this.
Yeah.
That'll nip this in the bud.
Let's just do a few casual war crimes and, this will all blow over.
So, yeah, last week is when this stuff really started boiling over, and I was having a real hard time.
Yeah.
15 years ago, a friend of mine was shot by a police officer in what I would only describe as a murder. I don't want to get into it too much right now, but I've had some personal trauma involved in this sort of narrative for the last 15 years. So last week, with all of the protests happening and the police cracking down on the protests, I was in a rough emotional state because I wanted to go out and protest, but I also did not want to, one, get my teeth knocked out by a fucking nightstick. Two, catch coronavirus at one of these protests, or three, spread the coronavirus at one of these protests.
Right.
So emotionally, I was deeply, deeply conflicted for pretty much all of last week, and it made it very tough for me, which is why I'm glad that we're recording it this week and we weren't recording it last week. I managed to get out in DC last Saturday, which was the 7th or 8th? 7th, right? Yeah. Let's go with that. I'm looking it up now. Nope, it was the 6th. Naturally.
Time.
Naturally.
It's very linear.
So on the 6th, I went out in DC and marched with the thousands of people who were marching out around the White House in what was a completely peaceful protest all day long. And the amount of people that showed up and the community of people that were there, it made me it gave me peace. Let's just say it gave me some peace in that there are so many people, so many good and decent folks out there who just want people to not get hurt.
Yeah, which I
people
think
to be able to live their lives without any sort of discrimination or oppressive figurative boot on their neck. And that made me feel really good. There were so many people, so many different communities. I remember that I saw a delegation of disabled folks, most of them deaf. What I can only imagine came down from Gallaudet University, which is one of the more notable schools for the deaf in Washington, D.C. There were so many people who had brought supplies for protesters, food, drink, sunscreen, and it was like it felt like a community when you were there.
Yeah.
And it made me feel amazing. Just being a part of that for the few hours I was out doing that.
I mean, also being like locked away essentially in your own home for so long, just being able to be out with people and showing solidarity who are all on the same page and all there for the same reason has got to be inspiring.
Right. I was there with my wife, and we met up with some friends, but we were, not touching anybody, wearing gloves and masks, and trying to keep some sort of social distance from people. But, you're at a protest, and you can't really control exactly everything that's happening around you like you can when you stay home. And, I got to the point where I had to do it. Like I had to go out in March because I just couldn't stand to stay home anymore. And I know that not everybody can deal with that or deal with it like that. And I know that you have some deep reservations about coronavirus.
Yeah, largely due to compromised immune systems in my household that could lead to someone dying if it got brought home. I've run into my own deal with coronavirus, and it was fucking miserable and involved a trip to the emergency room for my wife. And I don't really want to get into that right now. But I don't want to do that again or have a more traumatic part 2.
Yeah. So this has led to a lot of things happening, and so let's bring our focus out from the big bird's eye view, and let's focus right on our gaming community real quick.
Right. Games
Workshop releases a statement that we're calling the inclusivity statement.
Right. Bunch of brands are doing this, but GW they weren't the first, they weren't the last, but they were able to put one out there.
Right. And I mean, I think it's no surprise that we here at the Badcast that Comrade Dan and Comrade Campbell think that this is a good idea and was a good thing. I definitely think it was a good thing, and I applaud Games Workshop for doing it. If you want to, you can go on their website.
Well, I have it pulled up. I can read it right now.
Oh, by all means, go for it, man.
So they had this to say. Warhammer is for everyone. One of the great powers of our hobby is its ability to bring people together in common cause, to build bonds and friendships that cross divides. We believe in and support a community united by shared values of mutual kindness and respect. Our fantasy settings are grim and dark, but that is not a reflection of who we are or how we feel the real world should be. We will never accept nor condone any form of prejudice, hatred, or abuse in our company or in the Warhammer hobby. We will continue to diversify the cast of characters we portray through miniatures, art, and storytelling so everyone can find representation and heroes they can relate to. And if you feel the same way, wherever and whoever you are, we're glad you're part of the Warhammer community. If not, you will not be missed. So I like this statement. Like, it's definitely something that had to be, approved from top down. Like, this is a big PR sort of statement that wouldn't be put out without some sort of approval. Which is probably why some people might feel it pulls some punches or isn't as hard hitting as it needs to be. But I think it's a pretty good statement to start from.
I think it doesn't go far enough. I think that a month ago in May, had they put that statement out, I'd be like, oh, fuck yeah, gang, this is exactly what we need to hear from Games Workshop. Mm-hmm. But after the murder of George Floyd and the push towards racial equity in the United States and writ large, even the world, I want them to say Black Lives Matter.
I agree. I really wish they did say Black Lives Matter or made some sort of charitable donation to Black Lives Matter or some other black-facing charity that could really put their money where their mouth was on this.
Because while it's important what they've said, and I will back them for it, and I will congratulate Games Workshop on saying it, I think it could take one more step to specifically recognize the problem of the day, which is that people who aren't white in the United States, and I don't want to speak for England because I don't know. I don't know if the UK, if it's as bad as it is here. But in the United States, people who aren't white, life is significantly more difficult because of the systematic racism in our society. Yeah. And I would have loved Games Workshop to throw in a Black Lives Matter at the end of their statement.
I mean, I agree with that. I do love the "if not, you will not be missed" line, just because it is a nice callback to the old Warhammer 40,000 intro, and it is a sentiment I can very much get behind right now. But yeah, this is a small step, and we're past the point of small steps. Like, we need not necessarily big leaps, but we need significant steps being made. And you know what? I'm glad they're going to keep diversifying the setting. That's cool. But I think they also need to diversify their workforce, because having, it's one thing to have your heavy metal painters paint a few Marines, in darker skin tones or whatever. It's another thing to actually make those diverse hires and make them publicly facing.
Right. I'd also like to see them completely retcon salamanders. Yep. Which were originally dark skinned, and then they turned them into this coal black with red eyes thing that was happening. I'd like them to retcon all of that and just be like, hey, sorry, they're dark skinned again. Because I don't know. I have to imagine they changed that for subtly racist reasons. Mm-hmm. They were like, we don't have a whole lot of black Warhammer players, so maybe we shouldn't have a black Space Marine chapter.
I mean, I have no idea. I really don't. Like, I know originally they were described as having, like, quote unquote, dark skin in the fluff, and that was interpreted by a painter as, oh, they'll have like an African skin tone, as opposed to coal black. What? That's neither here nor there. That's all hearsay at this point.
Well, yeah, that's just wishful thinking on my part. But so yeah, I appreciate the sentiment behind their inclusivity statement, and I would love to enforce it.
Yeah, I agree.
Public. If somebody's talking some fucking bigoted bullshit at a table, and you just be like, "Hey, motherfucker, you will not be missed if this continues."
The amount of the memification of "you will not be missed" being used when you go on Twitter and you see, like, basically a lot of people got very mad about this. And a lot of replies to that are just, "you will not be missed." And I think if you do object to the statement, not if you don't think it goes far enough, but if you like object to the statement and feel targeted by it, chances are you probably aren't a regular listener of ours, but also it seems like you should really do a bit of soul searching and understand why you feel hurt by this sort of statement.
So a lot of people got mad about this, and I got to tell you, bud, I was not paying attention to them whatsoever, because there is... Warhammer community people get mad about literally fucking everything.
Oh, yeah.
Ninth edition Warhammer 40,000 gets announced, and people are upset about it. Mm-hmm. Like every tiny change to anything, there's somebody ready to lose their shit about it. So of course people got mad about this shit. But me, I wasn't fucking dealing with that. Because I was like, you know what? These fucking assholes, these fucking bigots in our hobby, I'm not going to listen to them this week. Just not going to do it. And I didn't. And I think that was key to me, coming back to happiness over the weekend.
I think that was probably a good idea. For me, it was trawling the content mines, which is a miserable experience. And I don't recommend it. But again, I was heartened by how many people just replied, like, people just getting ratioed left and right with "you will not be missed," which I very much appreciated.
Love that. So there was another Warhammer related social media post that went up by a fellow named Josh Mallet, who is a 30K player, I believe, right?
Yeah,
he's an Alpha Legion.
Yeah, he's on Instagram as
Alpha Legion, though.
Yeah. Oh, I know how you feel about Alpha Legion. But his handle is Omegon Edge, like Alpharius Omegon, like Omeg on Edge. And he posted a video on Instagram where he described a story where he was at a Warhammer Weekender, and they announced the Alpha Legion models in like one of those typical preview sort of events, and he got up and cheered. And Forge World's lead, I don't really know what his actual position there is, but this guy at Forge World, Tony Cottrell, said out loud to him, "You're like the black guy at the end of Avengers." And the entire room laughed at it, which meant they laughed at Josh. And he describes in this video, which you should watch this video. It's only like 6 minutes long. It's definitely worth watching and more eloquent than I can say it. But he felt alienated from his own community and from this hobby he was passionate about, all because Tony Cottrell wanted to make a shitty and confusing racist joke at his expense.
I don't think it's good that somebody who is not a straight white male comes into our community and gets this kind of discrimination. And that's, again, a very bold statement over here. I don't think it's good that people are discriminated against. But, like, this is a leisure time activity, right? This is a group of enthusiasts, a group of hobbyists coming together to play with their favorite toys and communicate with one another and have fun with one another through a shared medium. And when people are not accepting of the differences between folks, like somebody's coming to a Warhammer Weekender just to have fucking fun. Somebody's coming out just to hear about their favorite hobby, just to get news on their hobby, and then to be singled out in this manner. It's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, it's heinous. Like, your team members should not be out there alienating people from the hobby, especially if it's just because of their gender or the color of their skin. Like, making someone feel unwelcome just because they look different from you is fucking disgusting. I
know that Games Workshop is an English company, and I know that they are, everybody I've met that works for Games Workshop is a white person, and I can't. It's just like y'all need to find some people who aren't white and bring them on your teams. so you can experience diversity and not say dumbass shit like that in front of a bunch of people and think it's okay.
Yeah. Diverse teams make better stuff. Like,
I mean, diverse anything makes better people.
Yeah. And that's been documented in many places that are not a podcast of a couple of yahoos talking about it. Beyond that, like, this is not the first time Tony Cottrell has said something really shitty in public.
Oh, right. Didn't he make a comment about Escher?
Yeah, he said Eschers were duplicitous and backstabbing because they were women, again, in front of a crowd of people at a Warhammer Weekender.
Hachi fucking machi, dude.
Forge will put out an apology for that back in the day, at least, but I think they need to put out another one or something more significant right now.
And Tony Cottrell still works for Games Workshop.
Yes, he's currently the lead on the Old World, which I was previously enthusiastic, if confused by, but now I'm very uncomfortable supporting because I don't want to support him. I don't want to support a shitty, old, sexist, racist pig.
This is a situation where we can turn to Akewood for guidance. As always, Akewood, one of the greatest webcomics of all time, is in this situation when I say, and this guy still works for Games Workshop, and you say yes, I want to respond with, damn, that answer could use some work.
There really is an Akewood quote for everything, isn't there?
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to something that I know you were very excited to talk about. Though again, this weekend I was all hobby bigotry. I was not involved in because I just didn't want it. I just couldn't deal with it. Mm-hmm. But here's what I have the header in my notes here. It says Arch Warhammer, a known Nazi, is outed as a Nazi.
Yeah, a shocker. I know. So, that inclusivity statement set off a lot of angry reactionary folks who knowingly or unknowingly don't see problems facing the world and the greater community. And he is one who definitely was upset about it. For those who don't know, he is a surprisingly popular YouTuber with a bunch of subscribers, but his whole shtick is basically reading Lexicanum articles and embellishing them with alt-right and neo-Nazi talking points. So look to him for regularly comparing feminists to Tyranids, Noblars to, in his words, house N-word. He used the actual word, I won't. Savage orcs to black people, and then using that language to continue to punch down on those exact kinds of people. And he's also shown up on like streams with actual Nazis like the Golden One and Richard Spencer. So judge someone by the company they keep. And while I won't normally make fun of some people's appearances, he does look like if Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys had a very ugly cousin.
Oh no, this motherfucker is almost clear, dude.
Yeah.
This guy is the second whitest person on the planet, after Casper the Friendly Fucking Ghost. Like this dude, I saw a picture of this fucking, oh my God, dude. Like if he's a hero of the white people everywhere, it's like, can't we find somebody better?
Yeah.
Anybody better? No, this dude is like fucking Coke bottle glasses. His features I would describe as flat.
Kind of like a PlayStation 2 textures. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got like seriously dark rings around his. And hey, guess what? I don't really fuck with people's appearances ever because it's fucked up thing to do to talk about the way somebody looks. But this guy's a fucking Nazi, so I don't give a shit.
Yeah, when
he's ugly as fucking sin. He looks like Central Casting sent over somebody who was the product of incest. His hair is thinning or bald. I don't fucking care, but it's this like bullshit piss color.
Yeah, he looks like an 8th grader with male pattern baldness.
No, he's disgusting, and he's of course somebody who's a fucking Nazi.
Yeah.
Probably because he fucking hates himself.
Yeah. And again, I don't normally make fun of people's appearances, but when you're into the whole genetic superiority of the master race thing, you're not really living it, dude. So, and again, like I try to make fun of people's voices, but he puts on this posh English accent despite being Swedish, and it's in all his videos. And if you think my accent work is shoddy, I'm not talking for hours on end in it or trying to be taken seriously when I do it. And personality-wise, he's basically, the guys on Facebook who will get mad at GW for ruining the game by pandering to SJWs or whatever. Well,
yeah.
But have never played the actual tabletop game, have played like one video game and never bought a model, and just kind of read 1D4chan articles. That's him. He just happens to talk into a microphone and make videos.
So I've never watched any of this guy's videos.
I advise you don't.
I've actually never heard his voice either, but I've seen pictures of him.
I also advise you don't.
Because I heard that he was a fucking Nazi, so
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm not gonna join this person's audience.
No, you shouldn't. And the thing is, his fan base will parrot those like racist statements of his and say they're just jokes. But on June 6th, fittingly the anniversary of D-Day, the mask came off, baby.
So what happened here? Because again, I wasn't paying attention too hard, but I saw a lot of screen caps.
Yes, so he has a Discord for his audience, which is pretty normal thing for YouTubers.
His racists.
Racist audience, please. So he had he had a Discord, which is a pretty normal thing, and someone infiltrated it and posted a massive leak of screenshots, and it was the most vile shit imaginable.
Okay,
like,
yeah. I saw some of these screenshots.
Yeah.
They're pretty fucking terrible.
So you don't have to read. You can go read them. You can find them out there. VG247 did an article about it. It's a big post on the Warhammer Total War and Sig Marxism subreddits. It's going around on Twitter, where I've been thrilled to see people I really admire dunking on the motherfucker. And if you do want to see it, but I'll sum it up for you real quick. Unambiguous racial slurs thrown around like punctuation by not just Arch, but his entire community. The server's emotes, which are normally like your typical emoji, things like smileys, faces, and so on, are largely like Nazi symbols or caricatured Jewish people. You have Arch himself clamoring for real fascism leading to a utopian state, his words. His mods justifying, I have this written in caps, child pornography. A whole server called Lebensraum, which is the Nazi equivalent of Manifest Destiny that they use to justify conquest and genocide. And he had a whole stream where that was laden with racial slurs that he put out pretty recently. And my only regret is that we did not speak out about this motherfucker sooner. I don't know if we were just hoping he would go away, or or we just didn't want we didn't really have an in to kind of start this conversation, but the sources are out there. And I feel bad that we ignored someone this harmful and this poisonous for so long. But with the wealth of damning evidence there is out there against him, there is no deniability. And
people are trying to deplatform this guy.
Yes, people have been trying to deplatform him, reporting him to Patreon, where he is or was making a decent amount of money, reporting him to Discord, reporting him to YouTube, etc. And I've definitely taken part in reporting him. So a lot of people have already reported. If you go and report now, they're going to be like, we already got this, don't worry about it.
Has he been deplatformed yet?
To my knowledge, he hasn't yet, although his Discord, basically they deleted every single message, I guess unknowingly, not knowing that Discord has fucking records of everything that was ever posted there. So
yeah.
Thanks. Good job wasting your time, dipshits. He's lost a ton of subscribers, lost a ton of patrons, because I guess people didn't really put two and two together that he was a racist, fascist piece of shit. And I do have one net message, to him, yeah, fuck you, Arch Warhammer. You're a piece of shit. You're never going to listen to our show anyway. I'm just saying this for my own validation. But if you were watching his stuff before and just letting his statements slide, I urge you to just stop watching him, stop supporting him in any way, shape, or form. You're if you watched his stuff before, you're not necessarily a bad person, but you should do some soul searching and figure out if he's really the kind of person you want to support. And if you can separate his content, which is reading Lexicanum articles almost verbatim, from his persona, which is fucking Nazi, I don't understand you.
Yeah, gang. So this is when the call to action kicks in here. And quick caveat, Campbell, you and I are both white men.
Yes.
We're both straight, neurotypical, cisgendered white men.
Yeah.
So we were born, we did not earn, we were born with an incredible amount of privilege.
Right.
But we have a moral obligation, and every other white man has a moral obligation to make the world a better and more equitable place. And it starts at home. It starts with the way you act, the way you think, and the way you comport yourself on a day-to-day basis, and then it moves towards the communities you hang out with. And here in the Warhammer community, we have a moral obligation to make it accessible and open to anyone who wants to be a part of it. And for people like Arch Warhammer and the people that support what he says and does, y'all, in the words of Games Workshop, you will not be missed. And I will be the last fucking person to miss y'all motherfuckers. So, gang, we have to keep it in our heads. We have to keep it in our hearts. This hobby's for everyone, and we have to act with our privilege and make it better for everyone. That being said, Campbell and I did a thing. We donated our Patreon dollars from last month to the Black Visions Collective.
Right.
And we did this because, well, we felt that it's necessary.
Yeah.
It's necessary that we are using what has been given to us. We're trying to use it to make the world a better place.
Yeah. So we chose Black Visions Collective in Minneapolis because a lot of people were donating to bail funds in Minneapolis, and a bunch of them were saying, actually, we're good. Please donate here instead. And Black Visions Collective is a Black-led, queer, and trans-centering organization dedicated to Black liberation by empowering Black leaders, helping Black communities organize, and helping those communities take action. And that's where we decided to donate our money. But if you have the means to donate, you could donate to them. You could donate to your local bail fund. You could donate to your local Black Lives Matter chapter, which is what I did on my own with my own finances. You can donate to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund.
You could donate to the ACLU, which Campbell and I are monthly donators to the ACLU already. But that's another great cause, of course, because hey, guess what? There were a lot of civil liberties infractions in the last couple of weeks.
You don't say.
So ACLU is going to be busy. They could use the money. But we thought that as a podcast, as a show, we should put our money where our mouth is and get out there and try to make this a little bit better. And as always, gang, feel free to reach out to us about this. We will put donation links in the show notes for this show that go up for like iTunes and for
the website.
What do we use? Libsyn. And yeah, so you'll be able to click on these links if you're interested in that. But I firmly recommend doing something on your own to make this world a little bit better.
And if you don't have the means to donate to people right now, you can signal boost Black voices with your own platforms, your social media, whatever. You can watch the videos of these people. You can read posts, read books, educate yourself. And there's a lot of like charity streams where the money's going, where it's just like your view counts. Like if you don't have your ad blocker on, like the YouTube ad dollars will go to Black Lives Matter or other sort of organizations like them. You can find them very easily. A lot of them are on the front page of YouTube right now, even. So even if you don't have the money to donate, or you don't want to go out and protest for, a lot of understandable reasons right now, there's a lot of ways you can help people too.
But gang, let's do better. Let's do better than these Nazis want us to do. Let's do better than these fucking racists and bigots want us to do. And let's make this hobby an inclusive and welcoming place for everybody.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've talked about the serious problems that are happening around the world these days. So let's just do some dumb shit for the next few minutes.
Yeah.
As maybe a little palate cleanser, but to remind everybody that this is a deeply stupid podcast run by two deeply stupid men. So, Campbell, we're calling this segment, oh boy, we're calling this segment the Trattoria di Traditori.
When you're tired of the Primaris pizza joint, make your way down to Trattoria di Traditori.
Of course, the Tavern of Traitors here. We've done the Primaris Pizza Parlor, which was a lot of fun, but now we're turning to chaos. In what is our
signature segment, the most Badcast segment imaginable,
our most transparent reason to use the Tarantella sound effect yet. The Trattoria di Traditori.
So the way this works is we figure out what each of these characters' pizza and beer pairing would be based on what knowledge we have of them. And this time around, we're going for a bunch of notable chaos characters.
Does it have to be pizza? Can it just be Italian food?
I mean, if you go to any pizza joint worth their salt, they're going to have some Italian food in the side.
Oh, I haven't eaten dinner yet. This is going to fuck me up.
Oh, yeah, this is going to fuck you up real bad. I am so sorry.
Okay, here we go. Let's start with Ahriman.
All right.
Who, of course, is the sorcerer from the Thousand Sons who is guilty of killing most of that legion. And who does not get along with Magnus.
No. Or really anybody else.
So Ahriman, of course, is a chaos sorcerer of really unparalleled power and influence. And I don't think that this guy it treats his pizza with any sort of reasonable or rational manner. I don't think this guy orders pizza. I think it even goes further than Stromboli. All right, this guy is to him like pizza is something that you eat when your mind isn't open to the potential that the ingredients in pizza have.
So is this like a deconstructed pizza situation here?
I think it's a deconstructed, reconstructed situation here. I think he's like creating like some sort of breadstick lattice.
Okay.
With like ketchup packets in between, or maybe as used as like mortar to keep it upright. And then he doesn't eat it, but he just breathes the air that moves through it.
Because all is dust, yes.
Yeah, I think that when it comes to pizza, Ahriman is extremely experimental. And beer, oh boy, this guy doesn't drink beer. This guy only drinks absinthe.
Okay, so you're picking up something I was picking up here, which is that he's a fairly pretentious character because he thinks
he thinks he knows better.
He thinks he's smarter than everybody else.
Yeah,
which is why I figure he'd probably try to order something off the secret menu. But the issue is he's not actually smarter than everybody else, and there is no secret menu. So he'd probably just end up with plain cheese pizza.
The secret cheese.
Yeah. Yeah, mozzarella, the most secret of cheeses. And then, like, he'd be like, oh, yes, just as planned. Which is, that's the Alpha Legions thing, but all chaos get to dabble in just as planned a little bit. And because he thinks he's better than everybody else, he doesn't drink, and he lords that over them,
Ooh.
so he just orders a Diet Pepsi.
Ooh, a diet even. So he doesn't have taste buds. Okay.
All is aspartame, yeah.
Yeah, Ahriman. Yeah, Ahriman. I feel like Ahriman would be a really annoying friend to hang out with.
Oh God, awful. Because he's the friend who thinks he knows better than everyone, up to and including his dad, which he doesn't.
Oh my God, there are friends of mine that do that.
Yeah, I think the thing you'll find is reading books about space.
I'm not going to mention any names, Campbell, but some of them listen to this podcast.
Okay. Well, I think the thing you'll find with most Space Marine characters, irrespective of how good the writer is that they're basically 8th graders with guns. They're pretty much all emotionally stunted and stalled at that point, and he's definitely at the point where, like, if it weren't for the fact that he was actually worshiping, Tzeentch or thinking he's smarter than Tzeentch, he'd be like, I've got it all figured out. Not only is Santa Claus not real, God's not real either.
All right. Yeah, Ahriman. I think Ahriman is just such a boring person to spend time with. So let's move on to somebody who could potentially be even more boring. Huron Blackheart. Now, Huron Blackheart, of course, is the architect of the Badab War.
Right.
Where he decided to revolt against the Imperium and took a bunch of Space Marine chapters with him. Mm-hmm. And then was, faced off against a bunch of different Space Marine chapters that... Well, I guess didn't beat him because he's still around.
It was a face-off that did take his face off.
He does not have a face. This is true.
Yeah, because he took a melt-a-gun to the mouth.
So, of course, Huron means weasel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
So I would imagine, and weasels, of course, are known for their majority carnivorous diet. Mm. They are vicious, small creatures, even more vicious than cats, but smaller than cats.
Okay.
Also known as a cat snake.
Ooh.
Because it's like a cat, but longer and thinner.
Yeah, because, okay. Sure.
You could, so
where is it known as a cat snake, Dan? I have never heard this before in my life.
The internet, Campbell.
Okay. Is it a heckin' cat snake?
I didn't say that. You said that.
I did say it. Shit.
So, of course, weasels are part of the mucilid family. And my favorite fact about weasels, they have a tubular body.
Totally. Okay, so let's divert towards the topic here, the extremely stupid topic here. What kind of pizza is this motherfucker ordering?
So Huron Blackheart to me brings into mind, of course, Lake Huron.
Okay.
The Great Lake in the northern part of the Great Plains of North America.
More majestic than Lake Weasel, yes.
So I think that old Weasel Blackheart here, I get like a distinctly Canadian vibe from him.
Okay.
So I don't think he's ordering pizza. I think he's ordering poutine.
Have you ever had poutine on pizza?
No, but let's just say I'm intrigued. And listen, Canadians, I'm not talking shit about poutine. I fucking love poutine. I think poutine is delicious, and I would love to eat some right fucking now. And this segment is killing me because it is 6:33 on a Wednesday, and I haven't eaten dinner yet. Anyways, I think he's ordering poutine, and he's washing it down with a nice cold Molson.
Ooh. Okay. Makes sense. See, the thing is, I'm reading Blood Reaver right now, the second Night Lords novel. I'm rereading it a few years ago.
God.
And Huron Blackheart features pretty like central to the book.
I don't remember anything from these Night Lord books.
Oh, they're fucking good. He is the Blood
Are
Reaver.
they, though?
Yeah, I'm reading them right now. They're fucking good. They're Aaron Dembski Bowden books.
I know, I've read them, but I don't remember anything from them. None of the character names. None of what happened. I remember there was some fighting at one point.
There's not
probably more than one point.
There's not actually a whole ton of fighting, honestly.
Septimus, that's a character.
Yeah, he's cool.
Is he cool?
I mean,
I didn't think he was that cool.
As cool as a Night Lord.
You know what? Here's the most
person
controversial opinion you're going to hear in this episode is that I just didn't really enjoy the Night Lord books.
Okay. Well, I think the Black Legion books are a better series. They're kind of like a dry run for the Black Legion books. Anyway, fuck. Why can't we talk about Huron Blackheart? Because he's kind of a nothing burger of a character. So I figure he's kind of he's very self-centered. He's a pirate lord. So I think he'd find something the closest to his own name. So he would order the Huron Artichoke Heart Pizza. But due to the fact that half his face is metal and the dude can barely move his face, he'd probably have to run it through a food processor and eat it with a spoon.
Oh, no. Mm-hmm. We are not just going to move on from that terrible pun. I want you to say it again.
Huron Artichoke Heart Pizza. I fucking stand by this, all right? I'm going to stand by it for the entirety of this flush sound effect, and I don't give two shits. Because nobody gives two shits about Huron Blackheart. Anywho, Huron Blackheart is also always in pain, so I imagine he would double down on that with like a habanero rye ale or something that kind of hurts to drink. Like something that's way too, like one of those like way too smoked lagers that are just kind of uncomfortable to have in your mouth. I think he would double down on that pain.
Okay. Sure, I'll accept it. Huron Blackheart sucks.
Kind of sucks, yeah. Terrible. What about Typhus? Let's talk about Typhus.
All right, Typhus. What do we know about Typhus? He's big.
He's stinky.
He's fat. He's got the Destroyer Hive, which is angry bugs.
Yeah, a lot of angry bugs sticking out his back.
A lot of angry bugs. He's
got a hockey stick.
Has a bad attitude. He's a hockey fan.
Yeah,
is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
He's also Canadian. No, just joking. He's not Canadian. He's clearly not Canadian.
You can't mind that vein too hard.
Typhus is like Typhus's whole thing sucks. Like he's like a constant buzzing. He smells terrible. He's just covered in diseases. Like I would imagine that the pizza that Typhus eats, it's got to be extreme because this guy's got so much sensation happening all the time that it's got to be extreme. So I'm thinking for Typhus, it's got to be like those just like rectum rending hot peppers on a pizza, like a Carolina Reaper on a pizza. And Typhus smacks his gross fucking lips together and is like, ooh boy, this is gonna burn going in and going out. And then he's gonna describe it to everyone the next day.
Yep. And he's also gonna pick up the pizza with his big gross scythe when everyone's like, that was my piece. And he's like, it's fine, just touch my scythe a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, and what's he drinking with that?
Piss?
Oh, okay.
I think he's just drinking straight piss.
I believe it's called Michelob Ultra, but that works too. So I figure he'd be eating yesterday's pizza crust fished out of the dumpster.
Oh, nice.
He's going straight for the pizza bones. He's cutting to the chase. And he is going to order the cheapest, oldest, most skunked beer they have. Like, it's like, yeah, I guess this bottle commemorating the 2012 London Olympics. I guess we still have this. Do you want it? He's like, yes, give it to me. And he opens the cap with the T visor on his helmet and just kind of sucks the whole thing down. And he's like, oh, yes, disgusting.
Yes, I hate this.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I feel like, again, go to like I like to imagine that we're headed to the Trattoria de Traditori with these guys, and like it's you and I and all of them, and we're just constantly annoyed by them.
Yeah,
because they're all really fucking annoying.
I hate all of these people on a personal level.
All right, let's move on to the top kill streak scorer in Warhammer 40k, Karn the Betrayer. This guy, like, does he even have time to eat pizza? He seems like a very busy person.
He is a very busy person. That kill counter ain't going to reset itself. But I figure he's all about blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne, like ad infinitum. So I figure he's going to get like one of those cheeseless pizzas, because he's lactose intolerant, as you would know if you read Betrayer. But he would get one of those cheeseless pizzas, but with like extra red sauce. Like the thing is soggy with how laden it is with marinara. Like it's just like you pick up a piece and like the crust just comes off.
Okay.
It's
all
pizza
right.
you have to eat with a spoon is what I'm getting at.
Okay. So like a pizza soup.
Essentially a
bread bowl full of tomato soup.
A communal bread bowl. Yeah, it's a standing soup. Yes.
Okay. I think he's going to get meatballs on his pizza because they remind him of little heads.
He's like, can you shape the meatballs into tiny skulls?
Can you put olives on them to make them look like they have eyes?
Every slice has, do you remember the Pizza Hut mascot from the mid-90s that was just like a slice of pizza with like a face made of like a bell pepper and 2 olives, and it talked like Mr. Bill?
No.
Fuck, yeah, wish you did, because every single one of his slices would have to kind of be like that, because it looks kind of like a little face going, oh no!
Make the meatballs look like heads so I can eat them.
I want the pizza to bleed. So
yeah, I think a no cheese meatball pizza with extra sauce.
So what do you think he's drinking?
Probably one of those like rosé beers.
Really? Oh, it's red.
Because it's red.
Okay.
Yeah.
You definitely have more confidence in his palate than I do, because I think since the dude's all about rage, he would essentially turn the bunny ears of his helmet into like one of those beer drinking hats, but with 2 huge cans of Four Loko. And if someone converts a model of Karn the Betrayer with 2 huge cans of Four Loko as a beer drinking hat, I will donate $50 to Black Lives Matter or whatever charity I feel like donating to that day. I need the pictures. Do this for me.
I gotta imagine sitting at a booth in a pizza place with Karn. It's just got to be the worst thing possible.
Well, he's also like twitching and titching constantly, and she's like, "Dude, stop elbowing me." He's like, "I didn't elbow you.
Can you please sit still? Can you just sit still for a minute?"
And the worst part is
60 seconds, Karn.
The worst part
60 fucking seconds.
Since he's the betrayer, you'd like get up to go to the bathroom, and you'd come back, and your plate would be gone. He'd be like, "I didn't eat it." Or,
he's sitting in your spot too.
Yeah.
You can't turn your back on this guy. No. Not at all. All right, moving on.
We're getting into the Slaneshi part of this game.
Oh God. Oh boy. Oh, does he have dicks on his pizza?
Yeah, he needs the Garfield. Lucius the Eternal needs the Garfield eats pizza for sure.
Well, you said it. Let's talk about Lucius then.
Yep.
Okay, so Lucius, I've read 4 or 5 Horus Heresy novels, and there's no more annoying character than Lucius. I remember like his whole deal is if he gets killed, the person who kills him becomes him.
Yeah, he kind of possesses them and they become him essentially. Yeah,
that's gotta suck.
Yeah, not my fave.
It's not great.
Don't want that to happen to me.
So Lucius, I think Lucius's main character trait is that he sucks and is terrible. So what kind of pizza sucks and is terrible? And of course, white pizza.
Yeah, just like no sauce, just cheese.
No, I'm talking Lucius, of course, being a fucking creep and a pervert. He throws extra sauce on there. We're talking Alfredo sauce.
Oh.
We're talking mayonnaise.
Ranch
We're talking
dressing.
sour cream. We're talking ranch dressing. As long as it's white and as long as it reminds him of jizz.
About to say, everything you're saying is a pseudonym for cum. He wants cum pizza. Lucius the Eternal orders the cum pizza. We've come to this conclusion. And I spelled cum and come to this conclusion with a U and without an E.
Yeah, so Lucius, he's getting that cum pizza, white pizza, covered in every white sauce you can think of, and he is eating it so loudly, just so fucking loudly.
He doesn't have lips.
Yeah, I guess and
It's just like hard like clacking of his teeth.
and he's just getting it all over himself, and he keeps like looking at you the whole time he's doing it, and he's got like a real long tongue.
That's the thing. He'd like
because
look
of
at you,
course
and
he
then his
does.
like foot long tongue would just like lick the bit of sauce off his shoulder, off his pauldron, and he's like, "What? What are you looking at?"
And it's like, dude, Lucius, can you please eat this a little more quietly? Can you just maybe order a different pizza next time? Every week we come here, you order the cum pizza, and it's terrible. This experience for me is really bad. You have to understand that. And he's like, but I like it.
It's just maximum sensation.
I want all the cum pizza in the world.
So was he washing down this jizz pie with?
Oh my God. Yeah, that's a good question, because I would say like he would be John from Garfielding it.
Yeah.
And just a mug full of cum.
Yep, mug full of cum, mug full of dog cum. Yeah.
Slurping that shit down. But as far as actual beer, I don't know what beer gets people horny. Does beer get people horny?
Alcohol has been known to get people horny. I would say, since you were going with absinthe for someone before, you can turn into liquor here. And the closest thing you can get that you can actually order to a cum consistency that is alcoholic is probably like a mudslide sort of a thing. Like one of those.
Oh no, I figured it out.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter what he's drinking, but it's mostly roofies.
Just from his own supply for himself.
Exactly.
So the thing is, you went with hard on the post-heresy sort of thing here. I went for the during the heresy sort of idea here.
Okay.
Because he was all about, like, when he was still like falling to Slanesh, he was still about maximum sensation, and he was trying to find like new experiences, like amplified experience that he's never had before. So I think he would go for the most out there pizza on the menu. I'm talking like the poo-poo platter pizza. I'm talking like a pad thai pizza. I'm talking like a Thanksgiving dinner pizza. Just things that shouldn't work but are still legally pizza.
Okay. Well, that doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah.
And it's certainly not as funny as cum pizza.
Well, no, it's as funny as cum pizza. Are you kidding me? We've peaked. It sucks, but I've got to keep going here because I'm committed to the fucking bit. Otherwise, I would just fucking pull the ejector seat and get out of here. So aside from that, Lucius is all about perfection. So I feel like he'd be that annoying guy who's on Beer Advocate, like looking at every label of every single beer they have in the cooler, on the draft line, etc., until he found the highest rated one, and it would still never be good enough for him to rate it a perfect 5.
I don't know, man. I think roofies and cum pizza.
Oh yeah, well,
is where I'm going.
Here's the thing. I know weird pizza and highest rated beer possible guy. I don't know cum pizza guy, and I'm glad I don't know cum pizza guy. If you are cum pizza guy, live your bliss, chase your bliss, just have a good time. I don't need to hear about it necessarily.
All right, let's talk about another weirdo here.
Yeah, Fabulous Bill himself.
Fabius Bile. All right, so the one thing we know about Fabius Bile is that he has bad attitude, and that he loves experimenting.
Right.
But he's shitty about it. He thinks every time he does a new experiment, he thinks it's the best thing possible. So I don't think Fabius Bile has a regular pizza order.
Okay.
I think he comes in with some new cockamamie fucking combo every single time, and he's like, this is the only pizza that exists now. All you motherfuckers with your cum pizza and your meatball pizza that's shaped like heads, all you guys are idiots. I've got the best pizza, and it's gravel and anchovies.
Yeah, he has the fucking like Realm of Chaos D100 table to figure out what he's going to have on his pizza that day.
Yeah, but again, he's shitty about it. He's got an attitude about it because like Ahriman, because he thinks he knows better than everybody.
Well, he's also like the clone lord, so wouldn't he just go behind the counter and just start making that pizza for everybody and be like, I own this restaurant now. I am this restaurant now.
Yeah,
everyone has the Fabius pizza.
Yeah, and as far as beer goes, I think he's mixing beers together.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, I think he's
he goes to every draft line and just goes, oh, like,
like, fuck you.
See, I drew more from his story of style of fashion, which is all the like fucking stitched faces like together into a jacket. So I imagine he'd get a pepperoni pizza, but the pepperoni is arranged in a big smiley face. Alternatively, he would take the cheese off the pizza. He'd be like one of those guys, and he would like cut a hole for his eyes and mouth and put it over his face and be like, look at me, I'm pizza face. And Abaddon would just be over there being like, this fucking guy.
This fucking sucks.
And I think because the dude loves mutation so much, he would probably get like one of those wild fermented sour ales that's never the same twice. It's like, this is like a 2013 wild fermented sour ale. It currently tastes kind of like wet carpet and oak, but tomorrow it might taste like wet carpet and pine.
Yeah. I think I honestly think he's mixing beers, dude.
We're starting to describe more and more people we mutually know.
And he mixes two beers. He's like, all right, I put a Yangling and a Narragansett together. It's so good. You have to try it. You try it and it's terrible.
Yeah, this is what I call a black and tan and amber and blonde and brown and gray.
This is the piss and piss.
Ooh,
Lucius's ears perk up. Somebody say piss?
Yeah, double imperial piss ale. Yeah, it's fantastic. Let's move on to
we got one more.
Yeah, the big Granddaddy Chaos boys here. Abaddon the Displayer. What pizza is this boy ordering? I
mean, Abaddon, he's big, he's powerful, but let's face it, this guy's middle of the road. All right? Mm-hmm. He's bringing everybody together. He's only ordering pizza that he knows will work at the party. So he is straight up cheese or pepperoni guy.
Okay.
He's not fucking around. He's bringing everybody together.
Let's say he's chaos undivided. He's not chaos Hawaiian pizza.
Oh wow! Yeah, I think Abaddon's buying also, and he's like,
of course.
It's like I'm buying, so I'm deciding, and like Typhus is over there, be like, let's. I found this pumpkin in the garbage. Can we put it on the pizza? And he's like, you can put it on your slice and your slice only. Okay.
I wrestled this slice from outside.
I feel like Abaddon's like a mom.
Oh, absolutely.
And the rest of them are just unruly 6-year-olds.
The thing is, Abaddon is the one driving a fucking Astro van with all these dorks in
it. Lucius, quiet down.
And of course, the hood of the van has a big like Eye of Horus spray painted on it, but with some like really sick ass airbrush spirals of energy going around it.
Live, laugh, despoil. Yeah, I think Abaddon is firmly middle of the road. He's buying pizza that he knows everybody wants to eat. I'm sorry, buying pizza that he knows everybody will settle to eat.
Yeah, and what's he drinking with that?
Oh, what is Abaddon? I think Abaddon's drinking wine, bud. I don't think he drinks beer. I think he sees everybody else like drinking beer and mixing beers like Fabius does, and he holds himself above it. I mean, he just drinks wine.
I think Abaddon really is the wine mom of the 41st millennium when you get right down to it.
He is. He's the wine mom.
I'm just picturing the Eye of Terror Codex cover where he's holding Cadia, but with like a stemless glass of Chianti. Oh wait, no, he's definitely a Chardonnay man.
Oh wow!
So
yeah, Abaddon the wine. This is canon. That's canon.
Yeah, Abaddon the Vinter. Yeah. So So I'm glad we're kind of on the same page here with a lot of this because he wants it all, and it would definitely be like a party platter pizza. But I figured it'd be like a supreme pizza with everything on it because that's the lands he wants to conquer, and he would share it with all of his most trusted lieutenants, regardless of whether or not they actually want supreme pizza. Like that guy's a vegetarian. He's like, it's supreme. He will eat it. Also, everyone only gets one slice except for me.
It's the supreme pizza. It is the best pizza possible. That is why I ordered it, and that is why you will eat it.
It is the supreme pizza, and I'm the supreme overlord of chaos. I will not be taking any questions. And like the thing is, despite all this, like he is still like a wounded, spited man. So he would order like a Russian Imperial Stout because the label is pretty badass, and he would scratch out the word Imperial on the bottle. Be like, adequate.
Okay, a stout with pizza, huh?
Yeah, Tor Garadon did it when we talked about him.
Oh, did he? Yeah, he would, wouldn't he?
A double-digit stout, yeah.
Oh, I could feel the heartburn. Okay.
I can feel the bloat.
You know what? That was a lot of fun.
I'm glad we could bring it back up.
The Trattoria Detradatory segment.
It's my favorite fucking place to be. It is the most Badcast segment imaginable, and I really like to pull up from the most serious of topics into the dumbest fucking possible thing we could talk about.
All right, one more question.
Yeah.
One more question. Out of Ahriman, Huron, Typhus, Karn, Fabius, Lucius, or Abaddon, who do you want to go to the pizza parlor with if you're only picking one?
Abaddon's buy-in. And you know what? I think I could go for that. That's the closest. And also like a cheese and pepperoni pizza or like pepperoni pepper pizza, like whatever, like sort of middle of the road thing he goes for is something I'm pretty down with and has a 0% chance of having cum on it or in it.
I think the cum crust pizza.
Yeah, that's a different kind of stuffed crust pizza that I do not want to take part in.
Oh, wow. Cum crust pizza. That's gross. Yeah, I think Abaddon's really the only acceptable member of this group that you would actually go out to a pizza place with. You know, I feel like Lucius is the kind of person that whenever you shake hands with him, like when you like see him for the first time, when you're going out or whatever, you shake his hand. He's one of those guys that tickles your palm with his fingers.
Yeah, and his hands are cold and wet. Like, you don't know where they got wet from because, like, the closest bathroom, like, we've been in the car for like an hour, dude.
You hope he just washed his hands. You hope. That's the only thing you can do is hope it's because he just washed his hands.
I guarantee 2/3 of these people don't wash their hands after they pee, and I will not tell you who those 2/3 are. I'll leave that up to the listener to decide.
All right, let's move on. Marquee segment, Factor Fan Fiction. Campbell, I hope you got something both saucy and cheesy for me.
Oh, this is saucy. It's also cheesy. It's also terrible. And it's got a lot of voice work. So
good. Those are the best ones.
It was a dark night in Konoha. Everyone was parting, celebrating that the Genin exams were the next day. The exams lately escalated from a normal exam to a spectacle for the family members of the students. Somewhere else, in a back alley, a little kid was cornered by a large group of people. "We finally got you, demon," one of them said. "We will finally finish what the fourth started," he said before he brought out a sword and prepared to strike, while Naruto closed his eyes.
Oh, god damn it.
When this happened...
I figured it was something like this.
When this happened, time seemed to slow down before coming to a stop completely. Naruto opened his eyes and saw that he was in a dark place. When he looked around, he saw 4 glowing orbs of energy floating in front of him. They then expanded and the glow died down. Instead, there were 4 figures standing in their place. One was a large man in crimson red armor and a large blade at his waist. The other was a huge mountain of rotting flesh that could not be humanoid. The third was a woman that was the very image of beauty itself. She had a perfect hourglass figure, fine pale skin, full double D cup breasts, a nice shapely large yet firm looking rear. She had long silver hair flowing along her back, deep purple eyes, a heart-shaped face with black colored lips that had fangs poking out the upper one, and she wore a long white robe. You notice how the description of her is exponentially longer than anything else?
Yes, I have noticed that.
The last one was something beyond description. It was dragonic-looking legs with 4 talons on each foot, a humanoid torso which kept twisting in shape, large arms with blue scales, sharp claws, and a bone spike. It's Zinch. He looked at them in awe, not knowing what to say. The woman saw that he was staring at her and smiled at him. "Like what you see, handsome?" she said seductively. She did not expect his answer, however. "Yes, I do," he said. "Very much, actually," he said with a smirk. This actually got the woman to smile at him even more. "Slanesh, no seducing the chosen just yet, all right?" the one in armor asked. "Aw, why do you ruin my fun, Corn?" The woman, now identified as Slanesh, whined. "What has happened to us?" the rotting flesh mountain said. "We are the gods of chaos and we are bickering like little kids. What's next? Doing good deeds?" "If that is what the chosen wants, then so be it," the winged man said. "He controls us now, and I personally think that a little change in action is refreshing. Don't you as well, Nurgle?" he said. "Of course you would say that, Zinch," Nurgle said. "You are the god of fucking change!"
Wow. Well, this one's easy. It's fan fiction.
It is. It is.
Because it's a Naruto.
It is.
And it's also really terrible.
It is. This is Naruto Herald of Cages. Wow. Naruto Herald of Chaos by Belial, the Dark Angel.
So I just want to remind our listeners real quick that not everything is anime. And you don't have to make things that are not anime. You can just let it be what it is instead of be like, you know what? I need to take this this really cool universe with a lot of cool fun things happening and good characters
and cross it with Warhammer.
Hachi-machi.
A while ago, Carl messaged me and asked me, why do people do this? Like, what do they have to gain from this? And I was just like, People like two things. They think it's going to be chocolate and peanut butter, and it is more often cum and pizza.
This is Fabius Bile, dude. This is what he does.
Yeah.
This is what he does. He just puts two things together, and he's like, okay, yeah. Fucking yeah, a table and a chair at the same time. Let's see how it works. No, don't, Abaddon, do not tell me it will not work. I'm gonna see how it works. I'm the guy. I get to figure this out. And then Abaddon's just like, you can't sit on it and put stuff on it at the same time, you idiot.
It's definitely like combining a knife and a spoon into one object.
You know sporks?
I do know sporks. I also know the game of knifey spoony. I'm pretty good at it.
I always thought that a foon was a better name for that utensil than a spork.
Yeah.
It's a lot more fun,
It's a lot more foon.
more festive. Just foon. Yo, hand me that foon.
Yeah. I'm more of a freeloader fork guy myself.
I don't know what that is.
You clearly didn't read the Archie McPhee catalog in 2003. It's a fork that extends to 3 feet, so you can steal a sausage from somebody else's plate, according to the art on the package.
Only a sausage.
A single sausage. After that, it breaks.
Only one.
One link.
Okay, let's get out of here, man. Let's do a little plugs, shall we? So we've got a Facebook now.
We do. It is called the 40K Badcast. It actually does what it says on the tin now. It is no longer Cam Hammer. It will not be confused any longer with Can Hammer.
Yeah, I'm very excited that website I don't go to will facilitate fans of our show talking to one another. This is a good thing.
Now, with that unbridled enthusiasm, let's talk about Goonhammer, a site we both write for.
Yeah, I write for it every week. It kind of dominates my Sundays.
I was going to be writing for it this past week, but I worked over the weekend and 30 hours before Wednesday, so I haven't gotten the chance to write for it recently.
If anybody else wants to write Necromunda articles for Goonhammer,
we need guest articles. Please send Dan guest articles.
that would be okay. We're on Twitter. At DB_sleazy. He is at Brother SRM. You can reach us there while we tweet about, I don't know, how we love the autonomous zone in Seattle.
Yeah, you can follow my Twitter and see a font of righteous fury.
We also have a Patreon with a bunch of cool stuff on it. We're going to have we got 3 tiers. There's the supporter tier, there's the bad boy tier, there's the fuckboy tier. We got some new fuckboy stuff coming out.
Yeah,
real soon. As soon as I get to it.
And we just put out a fucking zinger of a bad boy episode for everyone who's contributing $5 or more per month.
It was another Insane Clown Posse album review episode. Those things are such a pain in the ass.
But we do it because we love you, the Horn Dogs.
I fucking hope you guys enjoy that shit because, they're such an annoying thing to do, and it kills my fucking YouTube mentions for weeks.
The problem is I listen to a lot of our stuff just because I kind of want to keep up with things because I forget the things I say. And the problem was I had to listen to Insane Clown Posse songs again. I'm like a
fish parent or a turtle parent with the stuff that I create. I just send it out to the world and I never think about it again.
That's probably the smart move. Never read the comments.
Okay. What other plugs do we have? Oh yeah, shirts.
Shop.spreadshirt.com/40K Badcast. We got a whole bunch of shirts, including the Horn Dog shirt that came out for.
Oh, the Horn Dog shirt is so good.
It's incredibly pure for something related to you, the Horn Dogs.
I love the Horn Dog shirt. I think everybody should get one or 2.
I think I should get 2.
I might get another one. I really, really like it.
I love it.
That's it for plugs, right?
Yeah, we'll
no, email. There's one more. Email, of course.
Jesus.
Sorry. I knew there was one I forgot.
Losing the plot here.
Contact at 40kbadcast.com. Let us know if you want to talk about, I don't know, anything. You want to talk about real world shit? Hey, we'll listen. You want to talk about what you're hoping for 9th edition? I'd love to hear about that, and we can have a little dialogue on that. But contact, rather, at 40kbadcast.com is the best way to reach us for just about anything.
Yeah. And again, we're going to put a bunch of links in the description on all the various platforms it's going to be posted to various charities you can donate to basically help with people right now, like a bunch of Black Lives Matter associated charities that you can donate to if you have the means to do so, and that we stand by.
Yeah, and if you're curious about any of that stuff, just feel free to email us and we'll chat about it. Yep. Okay, at the end of this show, we end it with a quote. And so I'm oh my God, there's a cat.
I heard the cat. It was very good.
She's meowing at me. I think she would like attention. She's about to jump up on my desk and scatter my infiltrators to the wind, which I'm not really excited about, but whatever. So quotes. Yes, we're on quotes. So Campbell, do you have a quote for us?
I do have an inspirational quote for you this week. Fuck Arch Warhammer.
All right, we're the 40K Badcast. We're bad at 40K, and so can you. And as always, Black Lives Matter.